Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. My name is Ace and I got more TF2 commentary, playing as a scout, rocking the strange stock scattergun, rep assassin as my melee weapon, and of course the mad milk as the secondary. Now this is a little bit of a thing that I really tend to get into now when I'm running pugs, just using different weapons. But that's not what this video is about. Like, this video is about, well, what basically happened this weekend. If you have followed me on Twitter or Facebook, you should have known that my PC died this weekend. Like, I'm not talking a little bit of death. No, I am talking full-blown destruction. At least that's what it felt like. It appeared to be a very simple problem, which basically makes me want to hurt myself in several ways. And I will get to that in a second. But this also explains why it's another scout video. And I hope you guys can understand that, because I had no time to record because my PC was not working. I didn't have recording software. I didn't even have a working PC to get into Windows for about almost 2 days. So I had a lot of issues there and I could not record, and I had to rely on basically footage I had backed up, which was only scout footage. So I hope you guys can understand that. But nonetheless, basically what happened is, like, a good friend of mine, a fellow YouTuber which does basically a lot of Minecraft work, direct messaged me with a clue or a heads up about a known bug with my SSD. This build I have here, which you can find exactly on my channel page on the right, has an SSD. I've never worked with an SSD before, like properly, that is. I've done research on how to take care of it and what to expect, but I never really figured that this specific SSD, this specific brand, has a known all-around reliable bug when it comes down to a specific hour, like 5,000 hours or 5.2k hours, and your SSD starts to bug out. You have to do a firmware upgrade, but I did not know this. So basically what started to happen when my PC started to get a little bit frustrated with itself, it started to like freeze up my computer. Like, it freezes one program, another program, and then it shuts down, giving me errors about Windows being corrupted, and like it started to boot down. And my initial geek gut said it's the SSD, because I've had problems with PSUs and motherboards and RAM and GPUs and CPUs in the past, because I like building PCs, and I like to think I'm somewhat tech savvy. But like I said, this is the first time I've played with or built a SSD into a proper build where my OS was on the SSD. So I was pretty limited in what I could do when my SSD started to fail. But I did what any reasonable person would do when the simple things don't really work, like turning off and on, things like that, and figuring out if there's some like proper software issue that you can directly trigger or find out. I basically started to reinstall Windows because I couldn't find any problems on the computer. Like, even the memory check said that my SSD was just fine, and every test I ran that I could run when my computer was still active came back positive, like in the sense that there was nothing wrong. So I suppose it came back negative then. So there was nothing. I couldn't find anything. So I got desperate. Like, I just basically formatted my SSD. I don't have an optical drive in this specific PC because I used to boot my initial OS through the USB stick. So that's a thing, which was not working at some point. And if it was working, it wouldn't write properly because my SSD was not working. It was slowly breaking down because of that firmware issue that I did not know of yet. Well, a lot of stuff happened. Like, I just disassembled my entire PC, triple checked the fact that I was triple checking connectors. Like, I got so paranoid and I just kept pushing, and like stress levels were beyond 9,000 if you like, and it was just kind of all kinds of crazy, and I just, like, I literally started to suffer medically because I do suffer from certain medical stuff. And that just started to get to me as well, and I just kept going, and then I got this direct message from Sriam, which is, like I said, the Minecraft dude, and he basically said there was a known bug that basically happens when your SSD runs beyond a certain hour. Basically, when you have above 5k hours and you don't have a firmware upgrade, it starts to bug out on you. So I was like, okay, that's rather strange because I've never heard of something like that when an SSD or HDD starts to bug out because he ran too many hours. Like I know of them breaking down because they have run out basically. But I've never heard them bugging out because of a firmware upgrade because they have run for a specific amount of hours, which was the case with my SSD. So after a lot of trouble, I made another bootable USB with that firmware, and that's it. That's basically what happened, and it worked, and it's still stable. So I've been in agonizing stress and horror for about 2 to 3 days. And I did so much stuff that was not necessary because I did not know of this specific bug. But my initial geek instinct was right, it was my SSD. At some point I started to think it was possibly other parts, but they worked fine. My initial instinct was right, like my SSD was breaking down. But it wasn't breaking down, it was just bugging out because of a known bug that I did not know of. So that's the thing. So I'm really happy that I've got these people around me on Twitter, on Facebook, as a beginning YouTuber, that I have a small audience that can be, you know, extremely helpful when I have problems and I can't figure them out myself. Like, you know how they say that two are see more than one or know more than one? Well, I've got a few thousand. Like, I have 2.5 thousand now of people that receive my videos, and a small portion of that receives my, you know, my Twitters, my tweets, and my Facebook messages. And all these people, they tried to help me. They even sent me epic music when I asked for it, because I was like trying to fix my PC and I asked for some epic music to get some kind of montage going in my head. Like, I think it was Live to Win that I ended up using quite a bit, and some stuff from Two Steps from Hell, which was rather funny. You have to imagine me sitting on the ground because I was running 2 PCs at the same time because I had to rebuild my other PC to get this one going. Don't ask. I was like sitting on the ground, like typing like a madman, making sure everything was running and everything was okay, and like on the background, Live to Win. It was good stuff. Also, what happened was my live stream. Oh god, my 6-hour live stream. Never again. Well, never again probably means yes, we're gonna do it again, but probably not 6 hours, because that was insane. It was my first live stream, and I directly dived into just straight up 6 hours. And the VODs are up, you can check them out if you like. But god, that was crazy, guys. Anyway, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time when I'm going to work on some new videos. Take care.